We've been asked about a waxer for your knitting machine, and we're going to give you the no-tech version of how we do this. First of all, here's our suction bath caddy. This is going to be our wax holder. Here's our base, and if you'll notice, this is what we had available, and that's what the no-tech part of it is. Any thick piece of plywood, what we want is weight at the bottom so the yarn tension doesn't pull it over. Now we've got to have a way to hold the yarn mass down, so here we go with the no-tech again. And what I'm going to do is make 3 strips out of a plastic lid, I think off of some cashews.
Yep.
Because we just need a strap to hold our yarn mast in place.
This is not a real yarn mast though, is it?
No, well it's the yarn mast for our waxer. The purpose here is to work with what you've got to get what you need done. That's what we're trying to encourage you to do. This is an inexpensive tomato cage.
I think this one came from Fred's, which is a local mini Walmart type place. And I believe I spent $2 entire on it.
Boy, this project's getting real high dollar here. Any small self-starting wood screw will do. This is the kind that I like. I will show you that they have a nice little tip on them, and they start in the wood real easily. Alright, same pocket knife with a nice point on it. Makes a good screw starter. And we'll put the last one in. And voila, we're secure. I want you to observe all this real fancy metal work here, because it's going to be very hard for you to duplicate this, I'm sure.
Jack is using pliers to bend the top of the wires that, if it was really being used as a tomato cage, would poke into the ground.
Alright, I've taken the suction cups off. They come off quite easily, actually, because it's meant to either hang with a screw or use the suction cup feature. Now, another adaptation here, pull ties. One of our favorites. If it weren't for pull ties and duct tape, we wouldn't fix anything.
In case somebody has been living on Mars and hasn't met pull ties, where would this person buy them?
They are a product comes in a package such as this. These come from Granger. You can buy them in any automotive store. You can buy them at Walmart. And I'm just going to bend this over rather than cut it off.
He's bending the third tine out of the way.
Right. And one more pull tie. And all I'm doing is going in and out of the holes that are already in this piece.
Did we say that this was a soap dish?
No, it is a, wait a minute, sponge caddy, I believe.
It says it's a suction bath caddy.
Okay. No, it isn't. It's a wax holder.
It's a wax holder now, but it's a Mainstays product, which is a Walmart brand.
Alright, we trim off our excess.
Alright, I've set it up. I didn't have any trouble getting the cone in here. The yarn's coming up through a slot in the bottom, across the top of the wax, over to my yarn mast. It's at a little bit of an angle, but I've already checked and it pulls off the cone just fine. So now I'm just going to knit and you can watch it work. We'll see how it does.
Yes. Yes, it's making a groove in the wax.
I thought that I'd need to set the waxer tower almost directly under the yarn mast for it to work. But at this point, I'm at some distance from the yarn mast. Let me show you. This strand of yarn that you see is not horizontal, but it's not at a great angle either. And it's feeding just fine, not giving me any trouble. We decided to try something new and put a second block of wax in. Turns out 2 blocks will fit just fine. So that would give you a lot of options of rearranging them to get to an unworn place. And then, of course, you can melt them back together into a rectangle when they get too beat up. Well, that's pretty cool. We decided that putting the yarn so it comes up between the 2 pieces of wax might be more efficient, allow the yarn to move more freely and still get a good waxing, and I believe it does.
And it fits every machine because it doesn't have to attach to the machine, and that's what we really were trying for.
How much do you think we spent if we really had to go buy all this stuff? This was $3, wasn't it?
It was. How much was the wax?
I think the wax was 4-ish in round numbers. The tomato cage 2-ish, and you could do it with a smaller, even cheaper tomato cage. So the bigger expense is going to be a decent piece of plywood if you didn't have one sitting around.
I think you can get a 12 by 12 square at Walmart for about $8, and maybe less.
Okie dokie. So most of us can scrape up the funds for this.
Yes.
We're showing you where the yarn has cut grooves into the wax, which proves that the wax is being transferred to the yarn. So it looks like this method of waxing will work fine.